Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Monday, July 17th, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 rundown best bet, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Monday in Major League Baseball. First up, it's the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to see a bullpen game for Cleveland, and Quinn Priester making his Major League debut for the Buccos on the other side. Now, Priester was a first-round pick for the Pirates in 2019, and he pitched in AAA Indianapolis this year at 87 2/3 innings, a 4.31 ERA, and not the best per nine numbers in terms of the Ks per nine and walks per nine, 8.6 Ks per nine, so a little bit below that strikeout per inning that I'm looking for in a young starting pitcher, and 3.6 walks per nine. His control's been a little bit off here in 2023. And the Guardians are a tough matchup for a Major League debut because they do such a good job at limiting strikeouts to begin with. They can be tough for a young starter. I do think the Guardians will be able to get to him in this game. I trust this Guardians bullpen against a struggling Pirates lineup. Give me the Cleveland Guardians on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Grayson Rodriguez and Emmett Sheehan on the mound in this one. Now, both of these starting pitchers, young starters, 23 years of age, and Grayson Rodriguez pitched with the Orioles at the beginning of the season, 45 1/3 innings of work. He struggled on paper when you look at the numbers, a 7.35 ERA, a 1.74 WHIP, but I saw a lot of potential in his game. There's no doubt he's one of the top prospects in baseball. He's got 56 strikeouts in those 45 1/3. He just had some control issues. He's given up some sharp contact. The Orioles bring him down to the minor leagues. He pitches really well in the minors. His control's still a little bit of an issue in AAA, but I still think when you look at both of these starting pitchers, I think Rodriguez certainly has the much higher ceiling. Sheehan, I also have my concerns when it comes to sharp contact in his game. His last start was not my, I watched that game. I was a little bit concerned with him in that one. 3 2/3 innings, 5 earned runs, and a home run, and with 4 walks to go with it against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, the Pirates in the last 30 days have been one of the worst lineups in baseball against righties. So now you're going on the road against the Orioles, tough lineup, and I think Grayson Rodriguez is a better starting pitcher. Both of these bullpens are solid, but I give the advantage to Baltimore there. I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles here at a pretty good price on the money line. Next up, it's the San Francisco Giants taking on the Cincinnati Reds with Logan Webb and Brandon Williamson on the mound. The Cincinnati Reds really struggled this weekend. They got swept by the Brewers. They only scored 3 runs in that game. They got shut out in the first 2 games of that series. They got shut out right before the All-Star break in the final game of that series against Milwaukee. They've really struggled against the Brewers overall this season, but now you got Logan Webb on the other side, who's been better at Oracle Park than he has been on the road, but he has one career start at Great American. It was a really good outing. I think he pitches well in this game, and I think, Brandon Williamson on the other side, not really my favorite option. San Francisco's improved against lefties. Give me the San Francisco Giants on the money line. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Miami Marlins. We're going to see Miles Mikolas and Jesus Luzardo on the mound. I would lean towards the Marlins on the money line. I also think the over is worth a look. Luzardo's not been as good on the road as he has been at Lone Depot Park this year. The Cardinals at the beginning of the year really struggled against lefties, but in the last 30 days, they have made some improvements. When you look at the OPS numbers, Cardinals ranked 6th in baseball in the last month. Their isolated power numbers also above average. Miles Mikolas has struggled at Busch Stadium this year. The Marlins should be able to get to him. Don't love this Cardinals bullpen, so that's why I still think the Marlins will be able to take the game in the end. But give me the over and the Marlins on the money line in this one. Next up, it's the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Texas Rangers. Shane McClanahan and Dane Dunning are your starters. Not often you're going to see the Texas Rangers getting plus money at Globe Life Field, but this is one of those spots with McClanahan on the other side. I think McClanahan's a great starting pitcher, 11-1 record, 2.53 ERA. I think he's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now, but I still think there's some value with the Texas Rangers in this spot because Dane Dunning's been solid for the Rangers himself, a 2.84 ERA, 8-2 record. And, his last start before the All-Star break wasn't his best against the Nationals, but still, he's been pitching pretty well at Globe Life Field this year. His numbers overall, a 2.89 ERA and 43 2/3 innings, a low opponent's batting average, and pretty good control of those games. He limits the walks in his starts at home. And the Texas Rangers, offensively, they've crushed lefties as of late. They're number 1 in baseball in WRC+, number 2 in OPS, and number 4 in isolated power, with a very low strikeout rate of 19.8% to go with it. Give me the plus money here with the Texas Rangers at home. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Washington Nationals. Mackenzie Gore and Drew Smyly are your starters. I think we're seeing a high-scoring game here. We saw that at Wrigley Field this weekend when the Red Sox were in town, and Drew Smyly really not in the best of form going into the All-Star break, where his last 2 starts before the break, 7 2/3 against the Brewers and Yankees, 7 earned runs and 2 home runs to go with it, with 7 walks as well. So the control's been off for Smyly. Now he faces the Nationals team that got pretty good numbers against lefties overall this season, a low strikeout rate to go with it. On the other side, Mackenzie Gore also not really pitching too well before the break. The Cubs have hit lefties much better than they've hit righties this year. We saw him get to James Paxton back on Saturday against the Red Sox. So give me the over here in Washington, Chicago. Next up is the Detroit Tigers taking on the Kansas City Royals with Matt Manning and Jordan Lyles on the mound. And the Royals brought us home a winner on Sunday outright, and I think I like their chances here against the Tigers on Monday night. This is a tough spot for Detroit. I mean, they have to go from Seattle to Kansas City, while the Royals get to stay at home after their series versus the Rays. And Matt Manning has not pitched too well on the road in his career. That includes this season. He's got a 4.84 ERA on the road. Last year away from Comerica, a 4.94 ERA in 23 2/3. So I don't love this spot for him. Jordan Lyles, he's 1-11 with a 6.42 ERA, but he's certainly making some improvements in his game. The last start before the All-Star break, 5 innings, 1 run against the Cleveland Guardians with 5 strikeouts and no walks allowed. Before that, he got his first win against the Tampa Bay Rays, a very tough lineup in that one. And he's been able to go pretty deep into ball games. I mean, 5 innings, 6 innings 3 times, and then 7 innings in the last 5 starts for him. So give me the Kansas City Royals here at a pretty good price at Kauffman Stadium. Next up, we see the Boston Red Sox taking on the Oakland Athletics. We're going to see Paul Blackburn going for Oakland. No official starter for the Red Sox. This Red Sox offense is red hot right now. We saw him before the All-Star break against these Oakland A's, 21 runs in a 3-game series. Then against the Chicago Cubs this weekend, we saw him another 23 runs in another 3-game series. Paul Blackburn has struggled. Before the All-Star break, he wasn't his best. Now he's going to get 4.86 ERA on the year. I think Boston gets to him and this pretty weak Oakland A's bullpen. But I do think the Oakland A's will be able to chip in. Their offense was pretty solid against the Twins this weekend. Scored 4 runs in the loss on Sunday, 7 runs in the loss on Saturday, and 4 more on Friday night. I think we see this game go over the total, so give me the over in Boston, Oakland. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Luis Severino and Griffin Canning are your starters. I know both of these starting pitchers struggled in their last couple of games before the All-Star break, but I think Griffin Canning is the much better option on the mound right now. And the Yankees bats, I can't trust them here. They struggled this weekend. They struggled in general in the last month or so without Aaron Judge. And now they go from Coors Field to Los Angeles with no days off in between. We know how much that can affect a hitter. And, Griffin Canning, I think this is a good bounce-back spot for him. Don't love the Angels' bullpen, but I still think the Angels' pitching staff will have a really good day here against a struggling Yankees lineup. Luis Severino's final 2 games before the break gave up in 6 2/3 innings, 14 earned runs, and 11-4 and 14-1 Yankees loss. I got to take the Angels in this game on the money line at Angel Stadium. Next up, the final game for Monday's card in Major League Baseball. It's the Minnesota Twins and the Seattle Mariners. Sonny Gray and Logan Gilbert are your starters. Both of these starters have been very impressive in 2023 overall, but I think I've been more impressed with Logan Gilbert as of late. Sonny Gray wasn't the best before the All-Star break, gave up 6 earned runs in a 6-2 Twins loss against the Orioles in his final start. And, the Twins were 0-3 on the money line and 1-4 on the money line in the last 5 games for Sonny Gray in his last 5 starts. Logan Gilbert, on the other side, though, his last 2 outings against the Giants and the Astros, when he combined 16 innings with only 1 earned run, no walks allowed. His control's been there this year. He's been able to limit the free passes and base hits in general with a pretty low whip at .98. I think he's a better starting pitcher in this matchup. I like the Mariners here on the money line at T-Mobile Park. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in Major League Baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bet, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.